Welcome to Conflict News 24. We have some updates for you and two news stories. First news story is about Ukrainian counteroffensive to take back Kherson city. Russian Defense Ministry just an hour ago in its daily briefing claimed that Ukrainian forces have suffered heavy losses in this counteroffensive in southern Ukraine. Russian Defense Ministry has shared details of the losses suffered by Ukrainian military. Secondly, heavy fighting is being reported in and near a settlement in Donetsk, which Russian military allied forces have been targeting for days. Kodema is the name of the settlement. We have details for you. Thirdly, Zaporizhia nuclear power plant. International Atomic Energy Agency team has arrived in Ukraine. Rafael Grossi, IAEA chief held a meeting with Zelensky today. When will this team arrive at the plant? Zaporizhia nuclear power plant. And lastly, viewers, yesterday we reported that supporters of religious cleric politician Muqtada al-Sadr in Iraq had stormed Iraq's green zone, high security diplomatic zone. They had stormed the presidential palace there, and since yesterday, since last night, heavy clashes have been ongoing. More than 30 have been killed in these clashes. Now, gradually, calm is returning to Baghdad, Iraqi capital, after Muqtada al-Sadr addressed his followers. We have details for you. Firstly, viewers, Ukraine around 48 hours ago launched a counter-offensive on some territories in Mykolaiv and Kherson. Main target of this counter-offensive is Kherson. Ukrainian forces are trying to take back Kherson city. Interestingly, Ukrainian Defense Ministry twice a day briefs international media people about the progress, about the ongoing military operation, ongoing situation on the ground. But Ukraine has not confirmed the start of this military offensive, counter-offensive officially so far. Though some Ukrainian military officials 48 hours ago, they did confirm that a counter-offensive had been launched on southern Ukraine. But in daily briefings, Ukraine is making no mention of this counter-offensive. What does it indicate? It indicates that the level of confidence which is required to back this counter-offensive on Ukrainian part is missing. Ukraine is not sure about the outcome of this counteroffensive. That is why in daily press briefings, this counteroffensive is missing, no mention of it. But Russian Defense Ministry today shared details about this Ukrainian counteroffensive, and Russian Defense Ministry is claiming that Ukraine has suffered heavy losses in the last 24 hours. Details have been shared by Russian military. It is being claimed by Russian side that 48 tanks of Ukrainian army have been destroyed by Russian forces. Secondly, 46 infantry fighting vehicles. Thirdly, 37 other armored fighting vehicles, 8 pickups, and more than 1,200 Ukrainian servicemen have been killed. 2 Su-24 jets have been destroyed over Mykolaiv. Details shared by Russian Defense Ministry. Ukraine is not confirming any counteroffensive. So it seems that the counteroffensive is off to a bad start. Otherwise, Ukrainian military should have shared the progress but no mention of any gains, any settlements recaptured by Ukrainian military. It means that so far this counter-offensive has not worked. Let's see, will Ukraine officially confirm this ongoing counter-offensive or not? Meanwhile, Ukrainian attacks on bridges in Kherson region over Dnieper River continue, and a few hours ago Antonevsky Bridge was targeted in a precision strike. Other bridges, two other bridges over Dnieper in Kherson have also been targeted by Ukrainian forces. Secondly, viewers, Kodema settlement in Donetsk Oblast has been seeing intense fighting for almost a week. Russians have been trying to take control of Kodema, and they have managed to get close to Kodema. Now, reportedly, they have stormed Kodema. And Ukraine today confirmed heavy fighting. Ukraine confirmed that from several directions, Russian forces, allied forces are attacking Kodema. Some Russian news sources are claiming that Russian forces are inside Kodema and they have taken control of some territories. So we can say that Russian military, allied forces, DPR, they have managed to enter Kodema. How long will allied forces take to take control of Kodema? That remains to be seen, because we know that Russian forces entered, Russian allied forces entered Soledar more than 2 weeks ago, but still they are in eastern part of Soledar. Bakhmut, allied forces entered Bakhmut more than 3 weeks ago. Still Bakhmut contested. So let's see, can Russians consolidate their full control over Kodema? That remains to be seen. Thirdly, viewers, IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency team has arrived in Ukraine. Rafael Grossi, IAEA chief, held a meeting with Zelensky, Ukrainian president, and this team is due to visit the power plant, Europe's largest nuclear power plant, Zaporizhia, under Russian control since March. Russians took control of this power plant almost a month after the start of Russia-Ukraine war, and there are fears that radioactive emission from this power plant could lead to a nuclear catastrophe for the region. That is why meeting of UN Security Council was held a few days ago. An IAEA mission was sent to inspect the plant. So the mission is on its way. It has arrived in Ukraine, and on Wednesday, in coming hours, this team will leave for Zaporizhia nuclear power plant, where workers are trapped for months. Those workers who were working at the power plant, they were not allowed by Russians to leave the plant, so they are there. So after this visit, this IAEA team will make some recommendations. Will the recommendations be followed? That is the most important question. Of course, this IAEA team will make recommendations about security, about what needs to be done. Question is, will the two sides follow recommendations due to be made by IAEA team of inspectors? That remains to be seen. In coming hours, we could see IAEA team arrive at the plant. Lastly was Baghdad, Iraqi capital, where hundreds of supporters of Muqtada al-Sadr, a religious Shia cleric and politician, stormed Baghdad's green zone on Monday, and they stormed presidential palace as well. Muqtada al-Sadr announced to abandon politics on Monday. After that, his supporters stormed Iraq's high security diplomatic zone, green zone. In October, election was held in Iraq. Muqtada al-Sadr bloc won majority, but not enough majority to form a government. A rival bloc coordination framework and Muqtada al-Sadr bloc could not agree to form the new government. Then we saw that in June, Muqtada al-Sadr withdrew his MPs from parliament, and after that his supporters, Muqtada al-Sadr's supporters, they stormed Iraqi parliament, and on Monday he announced to quit politics. After that, his supporters stormed Iraq's diplomatic zone, green zone. What happened within the last 24 hours? Heavy clashes erupted in green zone between Muqtada al-Sadr's supporters and security forces, Muqtada al-Sadr's supporters and Iran-backed militias, because the other faction, coordination framework, rival faction of Muqtada al-Sadr faction, is backed by Iran. So that is why clashes broke out between Muqtada al-Sadr supporters and Iran-backed militias. 30 casualties are being confirmed. Police fired live ammunition. Muqtada al-Sadr supporters were armed as well. So in green zone of Baghdad, throughout the night, last night, there were heavy clashes, 30 killed. After that, on Tuesday, a few hours ago, Muqtada al-Sadr addressed his supporters in a televised address. He gave 60 minutes to his supporters to leave the green zone and to leave the parliament. And after that, his supporters started withdrawing from the parliament and from the green zone. So calm is returning. Yesterday, curfew was imposed in Baghdad. Curfew has been lifted. Political stalemate is still there about the formation of new government. Muqtada al-Sadr supporters expressed their anger at Iran, and Qasim Soleimani, Iranian general killed in a strike by US military, is seen as a hero in Iran, in Iraq. But his pictures were torn by Muqtada al-Sadr's supporters during clashes last night. So anti-Iran sentiment was seen on display in Baghdad within the last 24 hours. Iran closed its border with Iraq after these clashes because there were fears that this instability could spread into Iran. So let's see, anti-Iran sentiment is on the rise in Iraq, which suits US because US has been very concerned about Iranian influence in Iraq. It has been trying to back those groups in Iraq which are anti-Iran. But Muqtada al-Sadr has been fighting US forces as well. His supporters, militias, they fought for years against US forces. And now he is anti-Iran. Calm is returning. More than 30 killed in the last 24 hours in Baghdad, Iraqi capital. Thank you for watching.